Okay, good morning. Thank you all for joining us today as we have day 4 of the Injury Prevention Challenge. And we have two very special guests returning from yesterday, no, 2 days ago. We have Dr. Kazee from Fortitude Health and Performance, and we have Ann Holness from Select Physical Therapy. So thank you both for joining us today. They're going to be doing some education with us today about prevention and injury prevention, keeping ourselves flexible and strong to prevent injuries and pain. So we will let Dr. Kazee go first. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
All right, perfect. As Carly said, yeah, my name is Dr. Corey Kazee. I am a chiropractor and I have an office down in Boynton Beach that I opened about 2.5 years ago now. So next slide, Carly. Just some basic, information about me, my background, where I've come from. Originally from Ohio, have a bachelor's of science in biology. Went straight through school all 8 years, went and got my doctorate of chiropractic medicine in Port Orange, Florida. Those other things listed there, those are just other, outside certifications and classes that I've gotten over the years to kind of help me better relate to my patients and, understand the human body, human biomechanics, and human anatomy. Next page. So I'm going to start with the lower back. Now, what I have up here, I have core and lower back anatomy. I like to address both because it is a very, complex area. And even though, when we think core on the front, just our abdominal muscles, it actually goes much more in depth, and both the core and lower back kind of work hand in hand. They're closely related. So you can see here, I just kind of put this basic diagram up to see how many muscle groups you have in both areas. And how they function together. You can truly appreciate this when you look at, if you look like at an anatomy book, or if you've ever been like in a cadaver lab or something along those lines. You can really see how, all these muscles, yes, they're separate groups, but they're actually connected in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through, fascia or tendons or, different layers. So it's kind of that's how they all relate together. There's a really cool book. It's called Anatomy Trains. I'm sure you could Google it, and it's an awesome read if you can stomach some of the pictures to kind of really relate to how everything is connected inside your body. Let's go next slide. So we're going to talk about, these next few slides are going to be some of the exercises I love to prescribe to my patients. One, they target the core, but, targeting the core is really also going to help ease a lot of pressure off your lower back, and also, strengthen your lower back with some of these. So the first one is, and again, we won't, these ones for kind of the core and the lower back, a lot of them are on the ground. Please do not get on the ground right now and demonstrate these. You don't have to do that. But so the first one is called the curl up. And what we're going to do is this top picture is your starting position here. So you're going to start flat on the floor, one leg bent, one leg straight, and with your hands kind of supporting the arch in your lower back. What you're going to do is you're going to activate your core. So, and by doing that, a lot of times people think sucking in the stomach is the way to do that. It's actually pushing the stomach out. That's how you activate all of your core musculature. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lift. You're going to keep your spine in a straight position. This isn't like a crunch or a sit-up. So you're going to keep your spine neutral, and then you're going to lift up off the ground. Doesn't have to be a crazy hike, about 1 inch to 2 inches. You're going to hold for a second and then come back down. The key to this is, the key to any of these exercises are nice controlled movements. We want everything to be smooth and controlled when you come up and down. We don't like, jerky motions, because what will happen is you'll you'll kind of alter the movements and potentially, cause injury or cause harm instead of build strength. So most importantly, breathe when you're doing this. Do not hold your breath. We do not want you, turning blue in the face and passing out just to get your core up off the ground. Next slide, Carly. Second one, I love this one. We call it the bird dog. So what you're going to do is the picture on the left. You're going to start down on all fours. Again, neutral spine. You don't want your back, rounded or humped, and you don't want your, back sinking too low. So a nice neutral spine. Again, you're going to activate your core, and it's going to be opposite arm and opposite leg. And what you're going to do is you're going to extend both outwards. You will know you're doing this correctly, which you want to limit side to side movement. So you want to stay as straight as you possibly can. In other words, it's kind of hard to demonstrate, but you don't want to extend that arm and leg and be, over here or over on this side. You want to stay nice and neutral and in a straight line here. Again, this end position, you can hold it for about a second and then come back and do the opposite side. Next slide. All right, the side bridge. So again, starting position is on the top here. You're going to keep your elbow and your shoulder in a straight line, okay? All you're going to do is you're going to lift your body up, you're going to hold, and you're going to continue to keep a neutral spine as you hold. Again, aim, if you're new to this, aim for, a 10-second hold. The more advanced you are, if you're going to the gym, things like that. Yes, Karen, there are modifications to all of these exercises. I will address that here in a second. So yeah, but you're going to lift and hold. You're going to keep your spine in a neutral position. You're going to try not to, rotate. So when you're holding yourself up, if you're looking at it from a side view, if you're holding yourself up, you want to be straight. You don't want to be looking like this. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. So let me address, so the modifications, it's different depending on, one, your experience with, exercising, stretching, two, if you're in any kind of pain when you first come into the office, and three, just your overall, biomechanic ability to perform these. So that's why it's, these, yes, they're generic stretches, but they are altered depending on your level and what you can do. So I always tell people we don't want you to be in pain when you do these exercises. So if you're in pain or if you just physically can't do them, we need to find a modification and alter how you do it. So, we start very basic and then we kind of work ourselves up to where, the most advanced, we may be doing some of these exercises on like unstable surfaces. So like a stability ball or a Bosu ball. But there are plenty of modifications to make the exercise work best for you so you can get the most out of it. This stretching exercise, a lot of these I already touched on, but the basic standing hamstring stretch, a lot of times that can help alleviate pressure in the lower back and the glutes, the butt muscles. The cat camel is a great one. You're going to start on all fours, and then you kind of arch your back up and then sink your back down. Doing this is great, especially first thing in the morning. It just kind of helps pump some of the excess fluid that you accumulate when you sleep out of the spine. And it's a good way to start your day and get moving. Let's see, the partial curl up we talked about. This one here is the bird dog. The extension exercise, also known as, McKinsey's, if you ever look it up. This is really great for people who have sciatica or lower back pain that's kind of radiating either into the hips, the butt, down to the feet. doing this, either laying in that extension position or kind of, they call it the cobra for any of you that do yoga. But what you can do is you can also kind of do like reps in that position. So it's just pushing your upper body up off the grounds and then coming back down. Love that one for lower back pain. And then the picture in the bottom left, the gluteal stretch. Somebody was asking me on Tuesday, favorite exercise for sciatica. This is probably the one. So you lay on your back and you just stretch those gluteal muscles out. A lot of times it will help alleviate and loosen that sciatic pain that you're feeling. So doing the gluteal stretch and the extension exercise are probably, those are my go-to for my sciatic patients. Again, as well as we will mix in those core strengthening exercises to help strengthen that area and alleviate that pain, prevent it from coming back. Let's go next slide.
Before we do, somebody asked about repetitions of each exercise.
Yeah. So again, it's all going to depend. You can do, I love, 3 sets of, 8 to 10 repetitions. But again, work yourself up to that. I don't know where you are as far as, overall fitness and mobility goes. So, if you are having pain, obviously don't feel the need like you have to do 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. The whole idea is to, start small and work your way up to where these movements and these exercises just become natural for you and a part of your, daily routine or daily habit. But that's, I would say, 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions is probably good. That's a good target to be at.
Okay, great. And do you also have things for the lower back that can be done in a chair?
Yes, I do. So I don't have them in the presentation, but one of the best things, so this gluteal stretch down here, you can perform this. If we just tilted this guy upright, like he was sitting in a chair, you can do this in a chair. So what you do is you just sit up tall in your chair. You're just going to cross one of your legs over. You'll keep your back straight, and then you just kind of lean forward. And when you do that, you will feel a stretch, probably a little bit into your leg, but mainly in your butt muscle, your glute. So you can do that while you're in a chair. The other one that I love to do is I just call it the wobble. But what you're going to do is sit up nice and straight. And again, you're going to move the lower half of your body side to side. So you kind of rock from butt cheek to butt cheek. So you go side to side, you'll go front and back. If you're feeling really crazy, you can do circles. When you do this, kind of minimize, you don't want to be doing this. Okay. So minimize your upper body movement and just kind of move your lower body around. That's great to just kind of get the blood flow to the area, especially if you're in a seated position all day long. This will help kind of break up that tension that sitting down causes.
And maybe we can send some of those pictures as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can definitely email that to you, kind of a before and after, or even a video demonstrating it.
Okay, and would you use these as preventative, or is it could be either preventive or rehabbing an injury?
Yes, and yes. So I love preventative, because it's nobody wants to be in pain. And as a medical professional, we love when you're healthy and feeling good. So if you're not having pain, these are good to do to prevent any issues from happening down the road. If you are in pain, we do the first step would be to see, either a chiropractor or physical therapist. We have to kind of get you out of pain and then re-strengthen and rehab that area. So it doesn't happen again, so you're not dealing with it for the rest of your life.
Okay, perfect.
All right, the neck. So the cervical anatomy, again, another diagram here. You can see how it's a complex area, a lot of muscle groups. What I call these muscles here, these are always, I call them the troublemakers. When people come in with neck pain in my office, they're also known as the accessory muscles. So when these muscles get tight and tense, they don't function properly. This is when you get, real bad headaches, migraines. You'll get some limited range of motion, and obviously some neck pain. So what we look for the neck is, one, your posture. Posture and head position. Is your head where it's supposed to be? Do you have what we call a forward head posture? Are you crooked on top of the spine? And then we also look at your breathing mechanics. So I'll explain the breathing mechanics here in a second, but things that play into this, causing these neck pain, these headaches, are you looking down all day? And then again, are you a chest breather, or a chest and neck breather, or are you a belly breather? So let's go to the next slide. I believe it taps into the breathing. So when we breathe, we should be, the normal way to breathe is what we call abdominal breathing. So you want to use your diaphragm, which sits down in your core, okay? A lot of us, what we do is we breathe with our neck, our accessory muscles, and our chest. So when we breathe, this is what we look like. When in reality, the only thing that should be moving is your stomach and your diaphragm. So a great exercise to help alleviate and kind of reset your biomechanics is the abdominal breathing or the belly breathing. What you're going to do is, you can do this seated as well, so we can all do this right now, but you're going to put a hand on your stomach and a hand on your chest. Without thinking about it, just breathe normally. And notice, is the chest hand moving? Is the bottom hand moving? Maybe both are moving. The idea to this exercise is you want this hand on your chest to remain still. So you want to feel the hand on your stomach moving in and out, and you're properly breathing with the diaphragm and with the stomach. So it's basically a 3-second inhale, a 3-second exhale. And you really want to focus on just the bottom hand moving when you breathe in and out. So this is one of those things, it's hard. It really takes a conscious effort to correct, because, we breathe, X amount of times a day without it. It's one of the things we do without even thinking about. So you're used to breathing one way or the other. But, taking a 5-10 minute break during the day and just focusing on your breathing, making sure you're doing it correctly, you multiply that, do it every day. Eventually, your body's going to get used to the diaphragmatic, the abdominal breathing. Let's go next slide. All right. One of my favorites for neck pain is what we call axial retraction. So this is a very common theme, especially nowadays with all the technology, the computer work, everything out there. We also see this in actually a lot of children too, because they're constantly on the cell phones and playing video games. So the whole idea behind this is we want to bring your head back over your shoulders. We do that by doing axial retraction. So if you think about it, those of us that are on computers a lot, on our cell phone a lot, we're constantly looking down, okay? And the body gets used to that position. So it puts a lot of pressure, tension, and stress on all of that neck musculature, the upper back musculature. What you're gonna do is you're gonna sit up nice and tall, and then you're basically just gonna bring your head back over your shoulders. Hold for a couple seconds. You do about 10 of those. This is really good for joint motion, disc health, and the cervical spine. What I love about this too is it also helps correct your anterior head posture over time. And this is one of the examples I show. So if we're all, if we sit like we normally would, or let's say, tilt your head forward a little bit and kind of look down like you were on a cell phone or working on a computer, and then try to lift your arm, your shoulder over your head. It's kind of hard to do, okay? Now sit up nice and tall, get into that axial retraction position, and now lift your arm over your head. It's probably a lot easier for most of you to do. So this is why I love this one. You can do it, mix it in throughout your day. Do like 10 repetitions. If you get a break between classes or between paperwork, just, do a few. And it kind of helps offset that forward antalgic lean that you have going on in the head. Let's go next slide. All right, so cervical stretching, so neck stretching, real basic. I already talked about that top right, the chin tuck. That's what we just discussed. So it's basically just stretching in all ranges of motion. So you're gonna, cervical flexion, you're gonna look down. You're just gonna hold that position for 5 to 10 seconds. Cervical extension, you're gonna look up, hold that position, 5 to 10 seconds. Same thing, the upper trap stretch. So you're going to turn your head to the side and then kind of stretch the head out. This one, if you need a deeper stretch, you can drop your shoulder and you will really, really feel it in that area. And then same thing on the other side. Okay. Same thing, cervical rotation. You're just going to look to the side, look to the side and stretch. If you have good range of motion, let's say you can look all the way over your shoulder and you just want to give it a little extra, stretch, you can. But again, we don't want to cause pain. So if you feel any kind of pain or discomfort, don't do that. The suboccipital stretch, the bottom right corner here, this is great for those of you who suffer from headaches or migraines. Maybe you get them middle of the day. So what you do is you're going to look down and then you're going to put your fingers. If you feel the base of your skull, you're going to feel almost two round bumps there. Those are your suboccipital muscles. Okay. You'll put your fingers there, or you can put your hands over them. And then you're just going to lightly pull up and traction up and hold and then relax. From the side, that looks like you're gonna come down and then you're just going to pull up. You're not pulling your head down. You're going to pull just kind of traction straight up. So this direction with that one. These are all good to do, again, throughout the day, or start your day first thing in the morning with it, end your day at night before you go to bed with them. These are good to do, again, anybody who is either not in pain as a prevention, or people that are in pain, this will help kind of loosen up, some of those neck muscles that could be causing the issue. I think that may be it. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so here's my contact information, website, email, phone number, Facebook, Instagram. I'll definitely answer some questions here at the end, but if you have any additional questions or things like that, feel free to reach out to me.
All right, great. Do we have any specific questions? A couple of people had specific questions about, their recommendations for their issue, so I'll have them. I'll email you that, and you can address them. Okay, great. Yes, I'll be sharing all the exercises following this presentation.
There's a question while Carly's switching, asking about how often to do this during the day.
I would probably recommend once a day is a good start. But again, if listen to your body. So if you get to lunchtime and you start feeling tightness in the neck and shoulders because you're doing a lot of computer work or paperwork that day, do them then. Do them over lunch just to help keep it loose, and it'll help prevent those muscles from triggering a headache or maybe some neck pain.
Awesome.
Okay. I had the wrong slides I think up for Anne, so let me just, hopefully I can gain the right one here.
If you have specific questions regarding the office, types of appointments, things of that nature, then I would just suggest that you give his office a call. I'll put the phone number here.
Yeah, you can give them my email as well. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay.
And they can send me an email, and I'll help them out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Anne, you have the floor. Is this the right presentation?
The first one I had sent you. This was the one I sent for handout.
Okay. I had a feeling I wasn't 100%. Is it this one?
Oh, I'm not seeing it.
Oh, sorry. Is it this?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ann Holness. I'm a physical therapist for over 30 years. Currently, I'm working with Select Physical Therapy as a work strategist coordinator. I have an advanced doctoral degree in physical therapy. And today I'll be presenting just working out exercises and the benefits of staying physically active. Next slide. As we know, physical activity provides many health benefits, including reducing the risk of disease, for better weight control, increased energy levels, a reduction in the stress and anxiety, and better sleep. As we know, if we exercise, we feel much better. With research, it has shown that any kind of exercise increases the hormonal level and improves our function. And it just even with the psychosocial, it makes us happier and gives us a better outlook on our day. So it's important to stay moving and stretch. Next slide. A few less benefits or less common benefits of regular activity is that it is extremely important to perform activities outside of work. A lot of times when clients will come in and I ask them, are they exercising? They will say, oh yes, I walk all day long at work. We just have to remember that exercising and work are different, and exercising outside of the workplace or will also improve our work efficiency and give less missed days from work. Next slide. There's always a question: how often do I have to do it? How much exercise do I do? And that was a question quite a few people asked Dr. Kissy. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention states that physical exercise should involve aerobic and strengthening. And it all depends on your schedule. But it is very important that in your routine of exercise that you don't only do the strengthening part, but you do both aerobic and full strengthening. Next slide. And it's a positive health benefit. You have, for example, the moderate intensity aerobic will include brisk walking for about 150 minutes every week, or 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. For the vigorous intensity, you have jogging, running for 75 minutes, or 1 hour and every 15 minutes every week. And you can always, for the third example, you can always include a mixture of both moderate and vigorous intensity aerobic activity for 2 or 3 days a week. Of course, you can exchange, depends on your abilities. You can always interchange what exactly is beneficial or that can be most convenient for you in your schedule. Muscle strengthening activities, 2 or more days a week that work. Major muscle groups, for instance, the legs, the hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders, and arms is very important. And always try to do some strengthening with your daily walk. Next slide. It's important to exercise if you can during your workday, because a lot of times you get home and you're exhausted. So walking during the breaks, at lunch, around the building, you put yourself on this program, on a schedule. You can get outside and take a jog or walk during your lunch break or your breaks. You can use the stairs instead of elevators. That's always important. It's showed that the stair climbing is both aerobic and strengthening. So it's a good way to get some exercise in. If you're able to, you go to the gym and you want to include not only the treadmill or some kind of aerobic activities, but you also want to include weights in that. So body weights, you use some kinds of equipment, the planks, you do planks, you can do jumping jacks, you can use crunches, but remember, you want to make sure that you're always safe doing it. And always remember, anything that causes pain, either you're using an abnormal movement or something is wrong. So you want to back off and do the exercises that do not cause pain. If at any time some activity is causing you pain, that means it is performed incorrectly or you're having some issues and you want to take care of that. Next slide. It's always a challenge to stick to a workout program. So you have to find something that you enjoy. It is easier to do something when you love doing it. Some people do not like staying indoors and working on a treadmill. So you want to make sure that if it's outdoors you enjoy, you want to go outdoors and do your exercise. Convenience is key. Use your employer's facility or find a gym close to your home or on the way from work. Plan your workouts in advance. Make sure exercise is part of your daily routine. The same day, same time is always easier to do because it keeps you in mind to continue doing the exercises at that point. Accountability. You want to find a friend, a co-worker who is also interested in exercising. So if one day you say, "Oh man, I'm not feeling up to it. I don't feel like doing it," your friend or your co-worker will say, "Okay, come on," encourage you to do it, and you all are accountable to each other. You want to set goals, short or long-term goals. Keep it motivated and bring a sense of accomplishment. If you have, it's always important to have those short term, and that will motivate you to go on to the longer term. But once you set your goals and you keep your goals, you will eventually get the results. Next slide. Proper posture and positive benefits. You all want to align your musculoskeletal system, improve joint and spine health. It's important to have flexibility, not only working out or anything, but you want to stretch. Stretching is very important. It loosens you up. It gives you that relaxation feeling. It gives you more ability to be able to do your exercises. You want to improve balance. Balance is also very important. We may feel that when we are walking, we seem to be uneven. Stretching will help to improve that balance. You want to make sure that both sides of your body feel aligned. So you want to make sure that you stretch both sides. We are dominant on one side versus the other. So we seem to be using if we are the right hand dominant, we may be using our right side much more throughout the day, and our left side not being used as much. So you want to make sure that we do whatever the stretches we're doing with the right, we do the left. And that stretching and balancing will also encourage us to stretch that left side or our non-dominant side. It's also great for digestion. As you exercise, you find that you're able to digest better. Your bowel movements are much improved. So, and you want to also include easier breathing throughout your exercise routine. Next slide. And this that the good posture is very important to work, play, and your everyday activity. And as you know, there are three natural curves: your neck, your mid back, and your low back. So you want to make sure these are always maintained in a correct posture, whatever activity you're doing. Your head should be above your shoulders, and the top of your shoulders should be over your hips. So whatever you're doing, just keep that in mind. And as you work at your computer or do your everyday activities, just remember to get that posture upright and in neutral so that you could maintain any injury and you could also maintain relaxation. Next slide. And this suggests examples of the abnormal posture. You see that with the abnormal posture, you may develop neck pain, back pain, leg, ankle pain. Whereas if you maintain that upright posture, it's less risk of stressing out the other muscles or tissues or ligaments to result in abnormal movement or pain. So you always want to stand up and straight and tall. Even sitting at your computer, you want to maintain that neutral position. You want to keep your shoulders back, pull your stomach in, put your feet mostly on the balls of your feet, not forward because moving forward, you lose that upright balance. And you want to keep your head level. The more you do it, the easier it becomes and the less stressed you feel throughout the day. And you want to keep your ankles, knees, and hips and shoulders aligned in a straight line. And even if sometimes you may need to use like a small pillow in your lower back if you're sitting at a computer, and if your arm support, if your arms are supported during the day, that will help you in keeping your neck and shoulders relaxed. So that will help to maintain that upright posture. Next slide. And that's just an example of for your workstation. And I know you've looked at that before while you're sitting at your computer or working at your desk or even using your phone at home. That's just a reminder to make sure that you keep in alignment and you keep your head and shoulders neutral. Next slide. And stay active, stretch, move. You want to maintain throughout the day. You want to stretch even at your desk or stand up, walk around, move to the copy machine. If you're drinking water constant throughout the day, that's a reminder you will have to go to the bathroom. So that's why it's encouraged throughout the day to have your water at your desk, so that every 2 to 3 hours, you'll be able to move around, walk, and go use the bathroom and stretch, and that will assist with your movements. So you want to aerobic, strengthening, and stretching. These are vital for your everyday life and for preventative. I think that's it. Any questions?
Great. I'm going to have, would you mind going through some of the exercises on the handout?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
I realized that I had taken the exercises out so I could do them separately.
Yeah, that's absolutely fun.
Okay, next slide. And it's very important for prevention that you do a dynamic warm-up. It's always encouraged to do dynamic warm-ups, meaning that you move around. The first slide is where you move your head from side to side. You start in a neutral position and you move your head from side to side. You stand and you move your arms. If you observe the picture to the right, second, third right, you see that you maintain that neutral position with your neck, your mid back, and your low back, and you're moving the arms up, back and forth. Then you move your legs, and of course you do that if you first starting off. You do that in a point where you're not over exaggerating or doing it too forceful for you. You want to start slowly and then build up. Or then you want to do the what we call marching in place, moving your arms and your legs, and then you do the jumping jack. Jumping jacks is if you're having any knee, ankle, or back pain, you can do like just as static, meaning that you stay in one position and you just move your arms. Versus if you so you don't have to jump up and down. So you can do a modified version of the jumping jacks with your arms only.
And can we, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can we pause for a second and have them try a couple of these that are maybe a little bit low intensity? Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you pick a few that you want us to try and kind of guide them through it.
Okay, we could start with the first start with neutral position where you are in alignment, shoulders are neutral and your arms are relaxed and you. And then you move your neck from side to side, slowly move your neck from side to side. You can, when you move to one side, you hold for 1 second, move to the other side, you hold the other second, and you just do that about 5 to 10 times, maintaining that neutral position. And then you stand, one foot in front of the other, your spine in neutral, and you just move your arms back and forth. As I said, you want to move to your own of how you feel comfortable for you. You don't want to overstress it or overdo it. And none of these exercises should cause you pain or increase tightness or discomfort. So nice and slow. And you can do up to 8 to 10 repetitions. And for your leg one, if you have any problems or you have any issues with balance, you can always hold on to some kind of steady support, like a countertop or a steady desk, something that does not move. And then you move your legs up and down. You don't have to start as high as 90 degrees all the way up. You can start slowly, taking it up.
This one you're doing right now?
Yeah,
okay.
This one. Back and forth, up and down. If you have any kind of back pain or leg pain, you always work within a pain-free range. That means any of these activities you're doing should cause no pain. One of the exercises that is very important, a lot of the patients find helpful, especially if you're sitting throughout the day, is the one I'm indicating here, where you lean against a wall and you just partially squat to stretch not only the low back and but also your legs.
Right here?
And you do like a partial squat. Yes, the one I'm indicating here. This one.
We don't see
yes.
what you're doing. Okay.
So you can always lean against a wall and do that, and just like a partial squat, like and that's great for stretching your back and your legs, because it's a great way for you to, like, when a sit to stand. And as you get stronger and more flexible, you'll find it gets much easier and you're able to go a little deeper. There's no reason to go full squat all the way down if you're not able to do that. You just do, and the wall will allow you to slowly go down and to maintain your balance. Then the next one to the right, just stretching back and forth. And of course, these are the positions you see at the extreme. You do not have to go all the way down. You can go partial. And as you move to the right, you will feel the left side stretching out. You can hold for about 5 to 10 seconds, then get upright, and then lean to the left side. And for the extreme right one, if you observe, there's a partial squat, and you're leaning forward. So that's a great stretch for the whole back and the shoulders. And sometimes I advise the patients to just lean their head in a neutral position slightly down so they could get that upper cervical muscles, that gentle stretch. You hold 5 to 10 seconds. So in an everyday work environment, when you're especially people who are sitting down, this can take just a couple minutes for you to do throughout the day. And it is advised that when you sit, if you could sit after you get up and stretch between 2 to 4 hours, so that you could decrease that stress and tension in your muscles. And those in the lower area are the more advanced stretches that you can progress to as you master those above.
Okay, so Valerie is asking about total knee replacement. Are there ones on here that she shouldn't be doing?
With the total knee replacements, if you have been able to resume your full function, you are able to do it to your tolerance. Which may be the jumping jacks may be a challenge. Depends how much rehab you've had or how you've progressed and your limitations. So any of those you are able to do. The squatting against the wall, if you lean against the wall and you just squat to your tolerance, that is okay also. Because all of these exercises can be done with slowly progressing. You don't have to start where you are. Anything causes you stress or discomfort. They are all safe if you have a total knee replacement.
Okay, great.
Next slide.
I think you covered that.
Yeah. And these are just examples of the dynamic warm-ups and the rotation, and the exercises we went through. These are the each individual exercise telling you how to do it and what you need to do. The jumping jacks, keep it in place. And as I said, you can just choose a couple of those exercises. For instance, when you're taking your break in the morning, you can do the upper body. And later on, when you're taking your lunch break, do the lower body. You don't have to do all of them at the same time. If you have 5 minutes, see what's most important or what muscles causing you tension throughout the day, and you can work on those. But it's important to do some kinds of warm-up throughout the day. These are the last ones were more advanced. Not everybody may be able, like I will not recommend someone who had a total knee replacement to do these. These are much more advanced, but with the previous ones, you can get the same effect if you do them accordingly.
Okay, great. So you all get copies of this these slides as well. Are there any questions for Anne? And the exercises, so just so both of you know, the twice a week for 5 minutes, we hold a virtual exercise session. We call it a timeout session, and it's similar to this. It's stretches, it's some yoga things in the chair, just to kind of get people take a quick break and get some movement in their day. So we do that twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If anybody wants to join in, you are welcome to.
Yeah. And it's shown that employers who include an exercise routine in their daily schedule have much less injuries, and motivating for the employees. So that's really great.
Great. That's what we're working towards. All right. Perfect. All right.
Nancy, I'll add you to the list if you want us to add you to the timeout information. Problem.
Sure.